There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust, people aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change. That's something that, this country stands for freedom, liberty, justice for all, and it's not happening for all right now. These aren't new situations. This isn't new ground. It's things that have gone on in this country for years and years and have never been addressed, and they need to be. Yes, I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change, and when there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand. There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. Cops are getting paid leave for killing people. That's not right. That's not right by anyone's standards. I have great respect for men and women that have fought for this country. I have family, I have friends that have gone and fought for this country. And they fight for freedom. They fight for the people. They fight for liberty and justice for everyone. And that's not happening. And I've seen videos, I've seen circumstances where men and women that have been in the military have come back and been treated unjustly by the country they fought for, and have been murdered by the country they fought for on our land. That's not right. I know what I'm doing, what's right, and I know other people see what I'm doing is right. It's something that we have to come together, we have to unite, we have to unify and make a change. There's things we can do to, hold them more accountable, make those standards higher. You have people that practice law and are lawyers and go to school for 8 years, but you can become a cop in 6 months and don't have to have the same amount of training as a cosmetologist. That's insane. I mean, someone that's holding a curling iron has more education and more training than people that have a gun and are going out on the street to protect us. If we have these conversations, there's a better understanding where both sides are coming from. And if we reach common ground and can understand what everybody's going through, we can really affect change and make sure that everybody's treated equally and has the same freedom. This isn't something that's a one-off case here, a one-off case there. This has become habitual. It's become a habit. So it's something that needs to be addressed.
Protests are erupting in Minneapolis this week over the death of George Floyd. The officers involved have since been fired, but many members of the African American community felt like it wasn't enough. Since Floyd's death, the Black Lives Matter movement and concerned citizens take to the streets to call for the arrest of the officers involved. We're also seeing athletes taking to social media to shed light on Floyd's death and racial injustice in America. Nancy Armour reminds us that this cause is one that's been going on for a while, and she recalls the athlete who sacrificed his career to draw attention to racial injustice.
Athletes from LeBron James to Lewis Hamilton to Coco Gauff take to social media to share their outrage and anger at the death of George Floyd. One thing has become enragingly obvious. Collin Kaepernick's knee was never the problem. It's been almost 4 years since the then San Francisco 49ers quarterback began protesting to shine a spotlight on episodes of police brutality against people of color. There have been a string of deaths of Black and brown men and women at the hands of law enforcement, and Kaepernick was trying to get America to pay attention and do something about the racism that was the root cause of those deaths. Did we listen? Did we pay attention? Nope. Instead, Kaepernick was blamed. He was called ungrateful, un-American, unpatriotic, and basically blackballed from the NFL. And yet, the deaths continue. The latest on Monday night in Minneapolis was horrifying. A police officer knelt on George Floyd's neck for 5 minutes, and a video of him shows him crying, asking to be let go because he can't breathe.
He ain't even resisting the arrest.
I cannot breathe.
You just a grown, you're a tough guy. You're tough.
Eventually, his body goes limp. Watch that video and tell me again that Collin Kaepernick was our problem.